Hi, I'm Tech Guy Chris Hughes. In this edition of TTWN Training, we're going to take a look at Goldwave. Now, if you're watching this video, you're probably new to Goldwave and have used another audio editor like Adobe Audition or Audacity, so this might seem intimidating. Don't you worry, though. We've got a bunch of Goldwave experts as well as newbies who've made the transition, so we've assembled some great tips and tweaks and tricks to get you up and running quickly. Now, keep in mind, Goldwave can do a lot more than what we'll cover here. Again, this is just a quick start to get you up and editing quickly, so let's jump right into it. All right, before we can get started using Goldwave, there's a couple of things we have to do for a first-time setup, and you're going to have to do this first-time setup the first time you open it up on the computer you normally work on, and then say you move into another booth or you move over to another pod or another position working somewhere else. The first time you open up Goldwave, you're going to have to do this as well. But don't worry, it's not that big of a deal. It's just a couple of easy questions and a couple of simple tweaks. We'll take you right through them right now. All right, double-click on Goldwave. We'll be presented with two dialog boxes. The first dialog box says, Goldwave settings and presets could not be found for the current user. Install them now. Yep, we want to install them now. And then once we click on yes, we'll see that Goldwave opens up, and another dialog box comes up. This one's a little more sinister. Do you want Goldwave to automatically check the website for updates? No, you absolutely do not. Here's the reason. We have a particular version of Goldwave that works with our traffic transmitter system. If we start getting random updates coming through, it could break something, it'll stop working, and you'll be out of luck. You'll have to move over to another booth and start all over again. So push no, and just let your tech staff here update Goldwave when the time comes. So we're going to push no on that. All right, now a couple of tweaks to make your life easier. The first one is going to be, do we want bounded or unbounded? What does that mean? Well, we're going to go to Options, Control Properties, Record, and you see you have three settings here for record mode. You have bounded to selection, bounded and looped, and unbounded. You're going to want unbounded, and I'm going to show you why right now. Let's go ahead, bound it to selection, and that means you're basically tied into however long your clip is. So let's just do 10 seconds here. I'll click OK on that. We'll do a quick recording. And here I am doing my traffic report. What freeways can I talk about? The 5, the 10, the 405. We'll go up north, the 580. We'll go down south, the 805. Well, from where we're recording this anyway. And then, oh, it looks like it cut me off. And that'll happen. So that's why we want unbounded. We want it to keep going if it runs past the time allotted, because then you'll have to do your report all over again. So let's go ahead. We're going to X that out. No, we don't want to save the changes. We'll go back here again. It's Options, Control Property, Record, and we're going to click on Unbounded. Now, the second tweak you're going to do is use the left-right mouse button selection method. Now, you don't have to use this, but it tends to make a lot of people's lives easier, and we'll see why later when we go into editing. So to do that, we're going to go to Options, we're going to go to Window, and then you'll see a selection here is Use Left and Right Mouse Button Selection Method. We'll click on that. Click OK. Bam, we got that. And the final thing we're going to do is dock your control bar. Your control bar is this guy over here, and it's real fun. It's got all those psychedelic colors and everything on it, but really just having it all over the place, getting in the way of things, it's just going to really cause you a lot of havoc and a lot of heartache. So we want to dock that up there. All you got to do to go to that is you got to go to Tool, see where it here says Control, bam, and you see it pops right up there. You're all set. It's going to stay up there. It's got all your major controls, really easy to get to, and it'll make your life a whole lot easier. All right, now we're going to review how to launch Goldwave from both Traffic Transmitter and Adobe Audition. We'll start off with Traffic Transmitter first. If you've already used Traffic Transmitter, you're probably familiar with this. If not, here you go. If so, it's a review for you. But it's real quick. We're just going to open up Traffic Transmitter here really quick. We're going to bring up a file that we want to record on. So in this case, we'll go ahead, find one here, and then just start recording here. We're recording our report right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 405 sucks. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, we know. Okay. All right, stop it. Hit play. You hit edit, and it pops right up there in Goldwave. You can do your edits, save it, and you're done. Send it off to your affiliate. You're good to go. Only slightly a little bit more difficult if we do it in RCS News, but again, not a big deal. Bring up the RCS News. You go to Media Library, And I have here a cart. I'm going to select the cart here. Now, if I just open it up right now, double-clicked on it, and your default, it's going to open up here in Adobe Audition, and there, man, we don't want that. So what we do is we go down here to, and it's always been down here. People have always been confused about how to open it up. They think they have to do like some big kind of settings. No, it's just a drop-down box. You just drop this down, you hit Goldwave, and bam, this time instead it opens up in Goldwave. And you can continue on with your editing. You do anything you need to do to it, save it. Just X out of it there, it updates, and you're good to go. Okay, now here comes the part that's making everyone a little bit nervous, and that's editing. So I'm going to try to make it as easy on you as possible. First thing we're going to talk about is how to select an area of audio, and this is where that tweak I showed you earlier comes in pretty handy, that left-right mouse button trick, yeah? Remember that from the setup? Let me show you how that works. You click left where you want to put your start marker. You click right where you want to put your end marker, and it selects the region. So in this case, we pretty much want to cut off the head. So let's try that again. We're going to click on the right button. See how it moved over from the right back over to the left? I could also click left and click right, select another area, but let's go ahead and delete that head first. Again, by clicking left on the side you want to start, right where you want to end, and then all you got to do is hit delete. Bam, it's gone. Let's go check the other side over at the other end of the report here. We want to trim off that tail. So we click left again, or we click right again. Let's try right, click left. There you go. It's gone. And now we've gotten rid of those heads and tails. Now, sometimes what happens is you can't see the entire waveform on the screen, and so that's where zoom comes in handy. Zoom is pretty easy. You just use the mouse wheel. You go up and back. If you do scroll up, it zooms really far in. If you scroll back, it zooms really far out. See how you can do that? And then down here, there's a border over the waveform that's showing you where the zoom area is, and then you can adjust that zoom area by grabbing on the scroll bar here at the bottom, dragging it back and forth, and look at you, you are good to go. So let's zoom back all the way out. Again, that's by dragging that mouse wheel down. And finally, cut and paste. Say we don't want a piece of audio in the middle of it, or say we want to move something around. Again, left click there, right click there, and then there's several ways to do this. Control X is one of them, but you can always just go to here, cut, and now we're just going to click where we want it to end up. Click left, click right, make sure you have that area there, and then Control V, or you can do Edit Paste, and you have now cut and paste audio back and forth. And that's really all there is to it. Just remember, left where you want to start, right where you don't, or right where you don't, left where you want to start, right click where you want to end, and that will highlight exactly what you need. Now, sometimes, like I said, you got that misplaced cursor there, so right, left, left. See how it kind of does that with right? So you always kind of want to start with the left and then head over to the right, and that'll ensure that you get that area that you really want to go ahead and cut out. Now I'm going to show you the 3 different play modes that come standard configured on Goldwave, and they each play a little bit differently. You see these 3 arrows up here, these 3 play arrows. This will play the whole file the whole way through.
101 freeway
start right
southbound,
heavy
drive right now out of Hollywood into downtown Los Angeles, northbound
This
side.
next one over here with a shading behind it, that is going to play the area where you have selected. So we're going to go ahead and select an area right there. And as you can see,
right now out of Hollywood into downtown Los Angeles, northbound side,
all the way
also
over
tough
to
as
the
you
end
come
of
up
the selection.
from
When
the
it
5
reaches
freeway
the end of
heading
the
up to
selection,
about-
it's going to stop. Now, finally, this third button here, this is played from the cursor position. So wherever you've stopped it,
Alameda,
that's going to start
a
to
crash
play.
on the
So as you
405
can see,
freeway
I stopped
southbound
it
at
there.
Getty Center
It's
Drive,
moving
has
along.
traffic
I'm going to
backed up from the
stop it
101.
again. And then if I hit that button again, it's going to continue
And
playing
also a
from where I
tough
left
ride if you're
off.
heading
So
down
you can
towards
use
San
each
Diego.
of those 3 different play modes to make your editing a little bit easier, especially if you're trying to do some fine tuning. So there's a couple of more features people have asked about, especially those coming over from Adobe Audition. One of them is normalization. How do you normalize? Well, it's called something a little bit different here in Goldwave, but it's really easy to find. You just go to Effect, to volume, and then you're going to go to maximize volume. So basically maximize volume and normalization. It's maximize volume in Goldwave, it's normalization in Adobe Audition, but pretty much works the same way. Bring it up here, and you're used to the percentages. So basically what you can just do is just move this along, follow the percentage along right there to whatever you're used to in Adobe Audition, and it's pretty close. You might have to adjust it about 5 or 10%, but as you see, I'll click here, it'll take it down to 40% normalization or so, which we use on some of our stations. And you may have to play around a little bit with Goldwave, but it's basically the same thing, just under a different name. Another thing that's the same thing but under a different name is what in Adobe Audition is called stretch. We have it in Goldwave as time warp. Now what stretch does is, say you have a 31-second report and you need it to be as close to 30 seconds as possible. You can actually go in there and it will fix it up, maybe shrink it a little bit, and actually fit that 31 seconds of audio into 30 seconds. Likewise, say you had a 29-second piece and you wanted to get it up to 30 seconds, it could do that too. It could expand it out with very negligible, possibly unnoticeable artifacts in the audio. So it's really not recommended to do this too much. And if you absolutely have to do it, don't do it for more than a second or two, because then you're going to sound really slow. You're going to sound like Mickey Mouse. But I'll go ahead and show it to you because a lot of people do use it. It is good in a pinch sometimes if you really got to get that report out. And so all you do for that is you go to Effect and Time Warp, little clock going on there, and it's the same kind of thing. Here's your change and here's your length. So in this case, we have a 22-second report. Just for instance, let's get it down to 22 seconds. Let's get it down to 21 seconds. You hit OK. It will fix it up, and hopefully, if you haven't done more than a second or two, it probably won't. You probably won't notice it, and it'll help you get that report out on time and fit the time allotted. All right, well, that does it for a quick intro to Goldwave. This should get you started and good for about 95% of the editing tasks we do here at TTWN. Like I said earlier, Goldwave is a pretty powerful piece of software, so if you'd like to learn more, there are lots of great tutorials, especially on YouTube, and then, of course, Google's your friend. Plus, don't forget, some of your coworkers are Goldwave veterans, so make sure to reach out to them. Happy editing.